Hey, what is going on, guys? DK back at you with another video here for a first look at the Week 4 NFL main slate. I've not looked at salaries yet at all, so this will be my first look going through it. Currently making this video at 11:50 at night, Monday night. This is your first time watching, guys. Cover content for daily fantasy sports, NFL, NBA, and for player props. Player prop stuff like PrizePicks, Underdog, Parlay Play. Underdog, they sponsor today's video. You can use the code DKDFS or the link down below for $1,000 deposit match bonus. All the different props, all the different sports they offer are up top. They already have Thursday Night Football props. And yeah, so I've been having a lot of fun over there on Underdog and would recommend that you guys hop on there too. If you are a new user and you use the code or the link to deposit, it does really help support the channel, so greatly appreciate that. And if you guys are looking for more content, now find all my content over on OddsShopper. OddsShopper Tales. I have it pinned in my Twitter. I have it pinned on my Twitter. You can use the code DK50 for 50% off your first month. And I will have it linked in the description as well. But super excited to be working with the OddsShopper guys. And yeah, excited to have all my content over on one platform. All right, so we can quickly recap NFL this weekend, and then we can get into it. So it was a very good day today for myself. Almost a massive day for props. Gave away Keon Coleman under 17.5 second half receiving yards. He did not play at all in the first quarter. He played a little bit in the second quarter. Actually caught a touchdown, but then just played really in garbage times. That was a pretty easy win. This was my two-game slate lineup. The Terry McLaurin touchdown at the end really hurt, but was really high on Shakir. I liked Christian Kirk, Strange as a value play. What hurt me here also was Bengals defense. I was debating between the Bengals or Bills, and obviously chose wrong there. And then was so close to hitting another 25x. Hit everything but Mac Hollins receiving yards. Hollins played like almost 100% of the snaps in a competitive game and still somehow did not get there. So that was extremely tilting. Hit 2 of the 3 straight props. Just need one more reception from Kincaid. He had 3 at half to hit this parlay, but again, just got unlucky with the game script. The Bills just didn't have to pass at all there in the second half. And then yeah, I can show you guys my Sunday night lineup. Oh, this was last year when I won a tournament. Turned $40 into $4,000 with both my running backs getting injured. I've had a lot of success in these small slates. Small slates in the show and say this I've had a lot of success recently. But this was, where was it? This is my Sunday Night Football lineup. So played Rashid Rice, captain, Mahomes, Steele, Harrison Buckner, and then ran it back with Bijan and McLeod. So overall, it was a solid weekend. Really good night tonight. Really good night for DFS. Yesterday was not a good day for it was not a good day for props yesterday. I feel like most sharps got killed in the prop. It was just weird day for props yesterday, but yeah, it was a very solid day today. So that was a recap of everything, guys. And yeah, let's just get right into it. Let's not waste any more time. Start the quarterback position. Like I said, this is my first time looking at salaries. So let's see. We have, let's see, random quarterbacks. Hurts 7-2. Well, let's quickly go over the odds, I guess. That's probably easier. So we got Rams, Bears, about 41. Packers, Vikings, 43.5. They'll probably go up if Jordan Love plays. Steelers, Colts, 40. Broncos, Jets, 38.5. Yuck. Eagles, Bucks, 45. Okay, that's a decent total. Bengals, Panthers, 47.5. Again, the Panthers, they look legit. One of the bets that really tilted me. I had Thielen over 3.5 receptions. He had 3 at halftime, got injured, did not play at all in the second half. So tilting. Saints, Falcons, 42.5 over under. Jags, Texans, 45.5. Pats, 49ers, 39.5. And I think probably the game that'll be the most popular, my guess would be this Commanders Cardinals game. Highest total, 50.5 over under. Jaden Daniels looked amazing tonight. He looks legit. Chiefs, Chargers, low total there. Browns, Raiders, another low total. So a few high scoring ones, but a lot of games projected to be relatively low. Okay, so again, Hurts, 7-2, Mahomes, 7-1. Let's say the 7K quarterback. So of the 7K quarterbacks, I think my favorite here is Hurts. 45.5 over under in that one, right? Obviously, he's very mobile. We'll see about his receivers and who's available. Will A.J. Brown be available? Will Devonta Smith be available? Don't know. But Yeah, I think Hurts of the spend up quarterbacks probably looks the best there. Let's see, in the 6K range. Hey, there's a good amount to like here. I mean, I like both quarterbacks in the Washington Arizona game a lot. You got Kyler Murray, my boy, 6.8K. We know he's mobile. 50 and a half or under, like I said. So he looks good. Jaden Daniels put up a massive game tonight. We know he's extremely mobile as well. I believe he ran another one in tonight as well. So yeah, I think those two 6K quarterbacks look really, really good. Don't mind Burrow here at 6'6", going up to Carolina. Carolina, not great defense. Let's see. What else? Cheaper quarterbacks. Jordan Love, if he plays 6K Jordan Love against Minnesota, that would look decent. I think there's a pretty good shot he will play. Let's see. He was close to returning this week, and again, I was really hoping he would because I had like all unders on Malik Willis, kind of banking on Love playing, and if Love played, I had like insane odds. All I really needed was, and I thought it was pretty likely that Willis would come in for like short yardage situations, like a 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1 QB sneak, so it wouldn't DNP. But unfortunately, you did have Love sit out one more week. So I think there's a good chance Love could play this week. What else for cheap quarterbacks? I mean, Trevor Lawrence, 5'7". I know the Jags O-line's been bad. This offense does not look good. But it's a pretty cheap price there for Lawrence. Keep an eye on the status of Sam Darnold as well. He's available to play. He's played really, really well so far this season, so he'd be a decent cheap quarterback. Fields has looked good too. 5.5K for Justin Fields would be viable. So there are a few. Andy Dalton, 5'3". Again, he looked great. Cincinnati cannot stop anyone right now. That defense did not look good at all. So, a cheap Panther stack, don't mind that, right? So you do have some viable options. Malik Willis had a huge game. I think I would say a bit of an outlier for him. But I mean, if Love sits again, then maybe you can consider Malik Willis. You do have some cheap options. Bo Nix look better too. But let's talk about running back. Okay. So I guess first thing is probably easier to talk through the injuries, right? CMC on the IR, so Jordan Mason going to be a good play once again at 6.7K. Going to be a bell cow back. Pacheco is on the IR, so we have, let's see, where's the price on Carson Steele? Let's go over to Kansas City. Carson Steele 5.5. Looks pretty good and was out there from a lot of the early down situations. So I think he's going to be a solid value running back. If both the Houston backs are out once again, Cam Akers would be viable. It's just that game got out of hand early, so Akers didn't get as many opportunities, but he was out there for basically all the early down situations. So you could have another cheap back there in Cam Akers that would be viable. Austin Eckler also got banged up, so Robinson would look good if Eckler can't play. The Steelers, I believe both backs are on the injury report here. Yeah, Najee Harris and Jalen Warren, so they're both out. I mean, Cordarrelle Patterson's season possibly at 4-3. So yeah, it's very early. Again, I'm making this video Monday night. So we'll get more clarity on this as the week goes on. But those are just a few things to call out there. Spend up running backs. Let's see. So you got Saquon 8K, Breece 7.8, JT 7.7, Kamara 7.6, Bijan 7.4, Kyron 7.3. I don't think you can go wrong with any of these spend up running backs. The snaps haven't been as good for Breece. Braylon Allen's been mixing in, but still heavily involved in the passing game. Saquon, basically a bell cow. JT, a bell cow. Kamara, basically a bell cow. Bijan, similar bell cow. Kyron Williams is like basically not left the field. So these spend up running backs, I think, all look pretty good. They're all involved in the passing game as well. So yeah, I think they all look pretty good here. Let's see. Is there anything in the mid-range? ETN, it's fine. But again, the Jags O-line's not been great. They've been mixing in Tank Bigsby a bit. Mentioned Mason already. Josh Jacobs I like. So I would say a bit of an outlier that Emmanuel Wilson mixed in as much as he did. The Packers were playing from a pretty big lead that whole time. So I would expect Jacobs' snaps to go up a bit. And if he gets anywhere close to what he saw in week 2, could be a really good play there. And again, he would look better, in my opinion, if Jordan Love is able to play because then we'll get a little bit more receiving down work. James Conner, I think, is an interesting bounce back candidate here. 6'5", didn't do much against the Lions. But a reasonable price point, and again, is involved in the passing game. Aaron Jones' revenge game is reasonable, but he's still not a bell cow, right? They're going to work in Ty Chandler. What else? Ramondre Stevenson, 6'2", and didn't do much. Kind of got scripted out of that game against the Jets. Also got a little bit banged up, so keep an eye on that. It doesn't look like he's on the injury report, but I think it was his wrist or something. He had to he had to leave the game for a little bit there. What else? What else? Zach Moss, I think, is a pretty solid cheap play. So still was the clear RB1 tonight, too. Is involved in the passing game and a pretty good matchup. So I think he looks like a pretty good cheap running back there. Chuba Hubbard at 5'7". Did have a really good game. However, still wasn't a bell cow. Miles Sanders still mixed in too. So maybe a bit of an outlier last week. But again, with Andy Dalton running the show, the Panthers offense is much better. Another thing to note, Jerome Ford. Now, this might be one where, the more casual players see the box score and say, oh, Jerome Ford, oh, it must just be, running back by committee like we saw last week. And again, I don't really know what the Browns are doing because week 1, Ford is basically a bell cow. Week 2, it was like a 3-headed monster with him, Deonta Foreman, and Pierre Strong, who would then get injured. And then week 3, Ford went right back to basically bell cow duties. Like Deonta Foreman barely played. So I don't know what the Browns are trying to do here, but yeah, Deonta Foreman, I think, he had 2 carries. He barely played, so I don't know what the Browns are trying to do there. So we mentioned Steele. Bucky Irving. So they even said going forward that Bucky Irving's going to be playing more. I mean, he's looked good. 5.3K. I think he'd be viable in tournaments. Anything on the cheap end? Yeah, some of these are going to depend on injuries. So, all right, let's move on to wide receiver. Wide receiver, it might be easier if we just go team by team quickly, so we can kind of talk through injuries. So Saints, let's see. You got Olave 6'5", Shaheed 5'5". I think both reasonable options in the mid-range. I think if I had to pick between the two, I would go Olave for a little bit more. For Atlanta, so, okay, decent price points here in Atlanta. I like Ray McLeod for value. He's played like 100% of snaps the last 2 weeks, 3.7K. Darnell Mooney's also been very involved. I took his over 2.5 receptions week 1. 1 week he didn't hit. The other 2 weeks, 7 targets, 8 targets. Yay. Woo. Gotta love it, right? Let's see. Cincinnati. So Jamar Chase, I think, still looks good there at the top. T. Higgins played a lot of snaps, didn't do as good tonight. And then Yeshovaz smashed. I just want to say how happy I am for Yeshovaz. He had like 6 catches. I've been taking his over receiving receptions the first 2 weeks. He hooked me both times. Finally didn't take it this week with T. Higgins back, and he goes for a career game. Tilting, man. Tilting. Carolina, so I want to talk about this. So, Thielen, hamstring injury. My guess is he doesn't play. Hamstring injuries usually take a few weeks to heal. So I think Deontay Johnson, clear wide receiver 1, looks good. I expect him to be relatively popular. But then you got Mingo and Xavier, too, for value. Xavier 4.8K. Mingo only 3.3. So we do have some cheap, viable plays here for Carolina at wide receiver. For the Rams, I mean, I hate Sean McVay, man. I hate him. Whittington was amazing for the amount of routes that he ran, but he played ran the least routes of the 4 Rams receivers. What are we doing? DeMarcus 5'1", 2.248, Tyler 4.5, Whittington 4.4. I mean, Tutu had a big game. His snaps went way up. I think they're all in play, but more just tournament plays. Like I said, I hate Sean McVay so incredibly much. I really, really do. I want to punch him in the face, man. I do. I hate that guy. So Keenan Allen, if he's out again, then DeAndre Carter will be the wide receiver 3 here for Chicago. Dunze had a good game last game. I mean, the Bears were just like airing it out. 6 catches, 11 targets for Dunze. Minnesota, so keep an eye on the stats of Jordan Addison. If he's out, Jalen Naylor could be solid value. Justin Jefferson obviously is in play at the top for the Packers. I'm really probably only looking at the receivers if Jordan Love plays. And if Love plays, I think they're all in play. If Love misses, I'm probably not looking at any Packers receivers. For the Jags, listen, they don't rotate guys. And this is a game that's projected to be relatively high scoring. So I'm pretty on Christian Kirk. He was someone else all over his props today. That worked out in a big way. So I like Kirk, I think, the most of the receivers. But Brian Thomas, Gabe Davis, definitely viable. For Houston, Tank Dowell got a little bit made up. We'll keep an eye on that. But all 3 wide receivers in play. If Dell misses, I would expect like Hutchinson to kind of mix in. Maybe see a little bit of the absolute corpse of Robert Woods for Pittsburgh. So Pickens, I think, is in play for tournaments. I mean, the 2 value receivers will mix in a little bit there with Calvin Austin and Van Jefferson. For the Colts, you saw A.D. Mitchell snaps go way down with Downs back, so don't think we can go to Mitchell. I think Pittman's fine, but again, you have seen Anthony Richardson kind of struggle trying to air it out recently, at least. Let's see, Denver, nothing really to mention here for Denver. For the Jets, Garrett Wilson obviously in play there at the top. For Philly, again, it comes down to injuries, and Britton Covey also got injured too. So if all 3 of those receivers are out, My expectation would be Dotson, Wilson, and Campbell will be your top receivers. I think Dotson, Campbell probably the top two, and then Wilson kind of mixing in. So we definitely have some value here for Philly if all those guys are out. For Tampa Bay, Evans, Godwin, definitely viable. Godwin's had back-to-back good weeks. He'll be a popular play in the mid-range once again. For Washington, you got Terry McLaurin, like the upside in him quite a bit. I mean, all these receivers are pretty cheap. The snaps went up for Noah Brown in a big way. I think he's interesting there at 3.8. McCaffrey had a good game today. For Arizona, you got Marvin Harrison Jr. I like there at the top. Greg Dortch, is solid slot receiver. Michael Wilson played like almost 100% of the snaps. So there's a good amount to like here in this Washington-Arizona game. For New England, Demario Douglas, in my opinion, their clear wide receiver one is probably the only guy I would consider here for the Patriots. For the 49ers, Debo, if he's out again, you're going to have Juwan Jennings become an extremely popular play. Him and IU, clear top receivers there. Ronnie Bell's mixing in, but he had a few drops. Did not look good there at the flat min price. Rashee Rice, I like there a lot there at 7.3. Again, just clear wide receiver one, peppered with targets. Surprisingly, I want to mention Juju Smith-Schuster snaps went up. So 3.2K. I think he is at least a little sneaky there. Juju Smith-Schuster. He snapped Justin Watson last game. For the Chargers, we'll keep an eye on the status of Justin Herbert too. If Herbert's able to play, then I actually do like Ladd McConkey a lot. 4.8K, playing out of the slot, getting a good amount of targets. If Herbert's out, then this passing game is probably going to struggle. Palmer missed last game. The top two receivers are clearly Johnson and McConkey, and then Semi Fioco mixing a little bit. And then finally, Cleveland and Las Vegas. Amari Cooper, someone I liked a lot for tournaments. He had a good game. We'll keep an eye on the injury news there. He had 7 catches on 12 targets. Judy, Elijah Moore, both reasonable plays. And then for the Raiders, Devonta and Jacoby Myers going to play a majority of the game. They said they could switch the quarterbacks. So you might see AOC, Aiden O'Connell next week. And then finally, tight end. So you had McBride is in the concussion protocol. If he can't play, then Elijah Higgins should be the tight end one. Would be a decent value play there. George Kittle was unable to play this week. If he is out, you're going to see Salbert be the tight end one. He ran a good amount of routes. What did Salbert finish with? I didn't end up playing Salbert, but I know I think he had at least one catch. Again, he ran a majority of the routes. Let's see. There are 2 catches and 2 targets. Okay. Again, it was just Juwan Jennings that basically did everything. Njoku, if he's out again, it's going to be Akins as the tight end one. 7 targets last week. What else? Ingram, if he's out, you're going to have, where's Jacksonville? You have Brenton Strange be another viable value play. He ran a majority of the routes tonight before the game was a blowout. Again, just going through all the injury news here. Okay, so that's basically it. Let's take a look at the top end. So Kelsey's really struggled this year. The price continues to come down. I think he's viable in tournaments. Brock Bowers is 5.6K. Kind of had a subpar game last game, but still decent play. I was extremely high. My stand, if anyone watched the Patreon stream videos, I was extremely high in Dallas Goedert for tournaments. Played him in my high 6 lineup, and he absolutely broke the slate at no ownership. 10 catches, 11 targets, 170 yards. My breakdown was, listen, he really underperformed last game when A.J. Brown was out. Everyone was looking at Devonta Smith. I clicked Goddard. That worked out in a huge way. So I like Goddard again, but we're not going to get him at, the 3% that I played him last week. The snaps have been going down of Kyle Pitts. Cole Kmet, I'm pretty tilted about this, man. I was all over him and his alt yards 2 weeks ago against Houston. And I didn't take his alt yards last week. 10 catches, 11 targets, 97 yards. You guys, there's more proof. There's no one that runs worse than me, right? I was all over Kmet alt yards against Houston. And again, his regular yards hit, still cashed his props, but close to making a ton of money as alts. And I didn't take his alts last week, and he goes for just an insane game. So yeah, Zach Ertz, 4K, still, running a lot of routes there for Washington. Let's see, Parkinson, 3.7K. The Rams ran a lot of 2 tight end sets, 5 targets last week, reasonable value. Conklin, I was pretty mad. I played him for DFS, but I was pretty mad I didn't take his props because the numbers were still great on him through 2 weeks, and he had a good year last year with subpar quarterback play. So I'm kicking myself for not taking his props. I still swept my Thursday props with Mike Williams and Demario Douglas, but I am really mad at myself for not taking Conklin props. That was very sharp. If anyone took Conklin over, it's extremely sharp. So I'm mad at myself for not taking those. But yeah, Conklin, solid play there. Munt still is the clear receiving tight end there for Minnesota. And we mentioned Brenton Strange. So yeah, that's basically it, guys, for the early look, first look, I should say. But yeah, so if you guys have been enjoying the content, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Really appreciate the support as always. Good luck, and we'll see you all in the next video.